Okay, so when turning in your work, we require single JPEGs for everything. That's the most easily read format that we're going to be working with, and having everything on the same page is a lot easier than, let's say I'm critiquing this, and you're turning in three images and I'm going back and forth, and it makes it really hard for us to critique the images as a single assignment submission. So it's important that we get them all on the same page. And what we do is we stack them, or what's called image stacking. And what that is it's just putting all of these images on the same file and making it look good. So in Photoshop, the first step that we're going to do is going to be to come in here and image size, okay? And the reason we want to do that is we want to know what we're dealing with. So you've got pixels here. Width is 638 pixels. You probably want to write this down, or you can go with this route here. You can look at this here and go for the size. Although if the resolution changes from image to image, this can be kind of a headache. But pixel size here, or pixel dimensions here is good. I'm just going to hit cancel. I'm going to do the same thing, image size. So we're looking at 672. Same kind of thing, 9 by 13, so it's a bit bigger. And then this third one here, image size, 600 by 800. Yeah, I'd probably just write these down if I were you. Okay, so then from there, what we need to do is make a new file. So we're going to make a new file. Okay, and the pixel width, if I round that up to, what was those? Those are about, what, 700 each? So I'll just do 800 for three of them. So 800 times 3 is 2400, right? This is going to be too big, but that's okay. And then I'm actually just going to go with a straight 1000. That'll accommodate all of these. 72 is what it was at as far as the resolution goes, so that's good. RGB, 8-bit, seems fine. So I'm going to open that up. So now we're looking at this file here, and here, I'll move these out of the way. Well, I don't want to move that out of the way. I want to move this out of the way. There we go. Okay, so now here's our file. This is where it's going to be stacked. I like to go landscape or horizontally aligned like that. It just seems to make the most sense. Let's see. Then from there, select all or Control A. Edit copy or Control C. And then edit paste. Okay, so that looks pretty good so far. And then I'm going to just hold my command key down, or you can go up to this tool here. I don't even know what they call this thing. What do they call that? I don't know. Free train? No, it's like a transform tool. Anyway, you can use that to go there. And then you notice here in your layers menu, if you don't have layers, you go up to Window, Layers. It shows up as a separate layer. So now we know that MOOC 18 is done. So I'm going to do the Control A, Control C, Control V. Okay. Now see, this is the bigger of the three. Can line that up a little bit. Use my arrow keys on my keyboard. And then here, Control A, Control C, Control V. And then I can just move that, again, using this transform tool here. Okay, so that looks pretty good, right? There's a bit of an issue with the white here, so sometimes you may want to come in and on your HSB, I think RGB is your default, but go to the HSB sliders using this little guy right here. You can stick a gray behind it. That allows for the images to sort of do their thing. Okay, so now we're pretty close. This is looking really nice. Images aren't quite the same size. Maybe I want them to be. So what I'm going to do is go to Layer 2. I'm going to grab that tool again, and I'm going to hold my Shift button on my keyboard. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. Does that look about right? I think that looks right. And there we go. So now it's the same size. This one here looks a little bit large too. Actually going to stick it like that. Hold Shift Okay. And then I can move that over there. Click on my background. Come on. Oh, apply. There we go. Okay, so now we've got that background back there. I don't know, it might need to be a little darker. Just use the paint bucket to do that. And now that looks pretty good. Okay, so are we there? No, not yet. Next step is going to be, I want to crop it in. I made it too wide. My margin doesn't need to be that big. So that's all I do. Okay, so what did I just do? I just used the crop tool, which is this guy right here. It's really easy to remember because if you just hit C on your keyboard for crop, brings up the crop tool, but it's this guy right here. And it puts these marquees around the outside. Just drag it in. Get it nice and even. Typically you want to go the same on the top, left, and right with a little bit more on the bottom. Hit enter. And now we're good there. Okay, so this is looking really, really good, right? Instead of having to go back and forth between 3 images and whatever there, we now have this nice and flat here. The problem, or nice and organized here, the problem is it's not flat yet. So the last step that you're going to want to do is under Layer, which is this menu up here, go all the way down and flatten image. And then at this point, you can do a save as. We'll go like, make sure you name it properly. So last name, week, let's just say this is week 3, assignment 2. And then save it, make sure it's a JPEG. If you have all the layers still, it won't show up as a JPEG, so it's important to have it as a JPEG without any layers, just the background. And then hit save. High quality. And there we go, and this is now ready to submit. Whereas if these were your 3 images before, these are not ready to submit. The names are wrong, right? They're different sizes. They're on 3 different files, whereas this looks really good. One thing, I don't know, some people require it, so just a heads up, but you can actually use the text tool. See, mine always takes forever. My computer's getting old. But you can use the text tool and label things if you want to go that route too. But of course, then if you do that, you'd have to layer, flatten image, and then save. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions about that. But that is it. It's a little bit of a long process the first few times, but once you get comfortable with it and you get into the crop tool, I think it's actually pretty easy to do. So yeah, let me know.